Video conferencing. It is our new normal. Who would have thunk it that we were going to be having high-stake conversations over video versus in person? But here we are navigating this new world together. So I wanted to offer some tips on how to look good and sound good on camera. My name is Michelle Bordeaux. I'm a former television news anchor, and now I teach small business owners just like you those two concepts, how to look good and how to sound good. We're going to dig deep today in audio and lighting. We're going to leave the messaging part of how to look good and sound good aside for today. We're just going to focus on some tech tips that can help you out. So the first thing that you need to consider when you're doing some video conferencing is, where do you set up your desk? Where are you going to have your laptop so that you have the best lighting possible? And to answer that question is, look for the window in the room. Yes, you want to position yourself in front of the window so you could get as much natural light into your room as possible. Natural light always wins over artificial light. So you want to make sure that you position yourself where you have a lot of sunlight coming into the room. I have my desk right in front of a window here. I'm going to show you how I have my shades situated. Here are my blinds open, full throttle to get as much sunlight as possible. And what you're looking for is to make sure that you are not getting overblown out on your face. So any part that could look shiny, look at that before you start your video conference call to make sure that your face is not getting too much light. It is a rainy, cloudy day here in Orlando, Florida, which is a rarity. So you don't have that issue when it is cloudy, but when there's a lot of sun coming through, you want to look for this. And I'm going to show you because I do have an artificial light that I'm going to talk to you in a second. This is overblown, right? So you don't want that. If the sunlight is coming to your face too much, full throttle, you want to close your blinds a little bit more. Okay, I just said natural light wins, so why am I using this bad boy? Here, let me shut this off. This is a simple circle light, 20 bucks on Amazon, and it's an artificial light that could clip onto your laptop that offers you another light source. So here's a pro tip, and I'll sprinkle these pro tips out through our conversation. Pro tip that in broadcast journalism at the anchor desk, you will have something called uplighting. Here's no lighting in regards to uplighting, and here's uplighting. Do you see the difference? It just illuminates your face a little bit more so, and I'll tell you the real secret, especially for ladies. This will eliminate some fine lines and wrinkles that we all have, right? So if you want to take your lighting kit up a notch, you want to get some 3-point lighting. That's if you're going full throttle like the professionals. But if you don't want to do that, a simple $20 light will do just fine. And you could position it however which way you like your shot more. This is the circle light in front of my face, and this is in an uplighting position. Okay, so headline, position yourself, your camera, in front of a window, and you want to make sure that you're using as much natural light as possible. What you don't want is this. You don't want to position yourself with the window behind you. That is bad, okay, for obvious reasons. You see the difference there. Okay, another thing that I want to tell you about is, man, is it frustrating when you have a conversation with someone who is looking at themselves talking to you? It is for me. Here's the difference. Here's me talking to you as I'm talking to you, looking at myself. And here's me looking at that fabulous green light that's on so many of our laptops, okay? So when you have a conversation with someone, it is very unnatural not to look at the video that's being broadcast through the video conference call, but you can't because you're not the person that you're talking to. These people are. Where the green light is, where's your camera? That's what you want to ask yourself. Where is your camera? That's where your eyes need to be addressed. That is where you should be looking during a video conference call. Again, here's the difference. Me looking at myself, looking at you, and talking to you and communicating like this, I'm not making eye contact with you, am I? Nope. I have to lift my eyes up and look towards that green light. Another tip I want to talk to you about is eye lines, right? So I just mentioned make sure that your eye line is directed towards the camera. But what if the camera, I'm going to move my circle light, what if the camera is low? Then you have to look down at your participants in the conversation. Now I'm going to move my computer around so that I am putting it directly on my desk. Okay, now, is this a good shot? No, because I am looking down at you, and I'm not even looking at you in this moment. But even if I change my eye line to be looking at the camera, this is still a really awkward shot because it's as if we are having a conversation with a child, right? You want to make sure you're always at the same eye line as the person you're speaking to. So even when you're talking to a child and you're taller, most of us come down on our knees to make sure that we have the correct eye line. Well, it's the same thing for a video conference call. If I'm having coffee in real life at a coffee shop, I'm not going to look down at you where you're sipping your coffee. Nope. I am going to be looking at you directly in your eyes. So how do we do that? How do we mimic that situation in a video conference call? Super easy, guys. Lift up that laptop and put something underneath your computer that can lift up your laptop so that you are getting the proper eye line. Okay, let's move back my circle line. Nobody needs to see more wrinkles. Okay, all right, so what did we do there? A couple things. We situated ourselves in front of a window. We are positioning ourselves not directly in front of the window where both of my shoulders are looking out the window. We are moving that to a 45-degree angle so that we have some more light on this side of our face versus the right side of our face. A little bit of contrast. You'll notice that if you watch movies, some of your favorite main characters, if you're really into lighting, they'll have that as a part of their cinematography. So you're sitting in front of the window, moving slightly diagonal, 45 degrees. Maybe you have your circle light. You're looking directly at the green light or wherever your camera is. You're not looking at yourself talking to the people in your conversation. And you are lifting your laptop up so that you are looking at your participants eye to eye versus down at them. Down is not a good shot. Okay, so those are a couple of things about how to look good on camera. How do you sound good on camera? And this is going to be super simple. I'm not going to tell you to buy a microphone or anything, but these headphones, they come with your smartphone, likely. Just use them, because if you don't use them, you are obligating yourself to the microphone that is inside of the computer, and at that point you hear everything that's happening in your house. So if your dog is barking, if your children are screaming, if your spouse is yelling for you, not knowing that you're on an important call, guess what? That is all being heard on the microphone that's inside of your computer. So you want to offer an external mic to the situation so you are helping to eliminate the ambient noise, okay? So this is the microphone, that's why I just pulled that out. I am going to lower the microphone, and do you hear the difference? It's super hollow. You just always want to have a microphone by your mouth, and it could be something as simple as this, or it could be a podcast mic, but if you don't want to go full throttle on that, don't worry. Just make sure that you're using some sort of microphone. Another good tip for video conferencing is that you want to enter these conversations on mute. Enter your conversation on mute. Why? Nobody needs to hear you rustling to put your microphone into your computer. Nobody needs to hear your children screaming in the background. And it gives you control over if you want to cough, if you want to take a sip of water, because if you're doing all of that over your microphone, guess what? Everybody could hear what you're doing. So make sure that you have yourself on mute. Another good thing to keep in mind is that technology fails and sometimes mute doesn't work. Maybe you think you pressed mute and you didn't. So always have in mind that when you're a part of a video conference call, everything that you're saying could go out live. So you may want to eliminate the curse words or screaming at your children while you're on these calls. I know that sounds crazy, but being a part of a live broadcast every single day of my professional life, I could tell you that there are microphone mistakes, and sometimes you say things where you think that you're in a commercial break and no one's going to hear you, and lo and behold, your whole audience does. So just avoid saying anything that could get you into trouble. Okay, so when it comes to audio, use a mic, enter your conversation on mute, and make sure that you are cognizant of what you're saying throughout the whole conversation. All right, the last thing I want to leave you guys with is a pro tip. You see this? Oh yeah, it is the swivel chair that we all have in our offices. Many of us have them. And what I want to tell you to do is lock your swivel chair. This is a pro tip because when you're at a news desk and you're anchoring a newscast, you likely aren't on a swivel chair because inadvertently, subconsciously, we start moving. And when we start having a mini roller coaster during our professional conversations, it's extremely distracting and it's unprofessional. So you want to make sure that you are in a stationary chair, preferably. However, if you do have a swivel chair, just lock it on the bottom to make sure that you don't get into a situation where you're like this. Okay, so those are some pro tips for you as you go through this video conference era that we are in. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is michelle@michelleberto.com. We also have on my website a resource list for COVID-19 specifically. And in this, you will find a crisis communication crash course for your business, 7 steps of what you could do right now to try to navigate this and communicate and specifically focus on the messaging for your audience. And also, as a part of that resource list, we went through a live Q&A talking about best practices for media pitching. How do you make yourself newsworthy in a time like this? We also talked about some good practices with public relations and how to put together a media kit of value right now if you are in a position to do so. So those are some of the ideas of how you could take your communications to the next level. As a part of that resource list, we also have some go-to tips and answers on how to structure your messaging for external use, social media, how to create great video even from your home for your business. We talk about that for external video, and then we also focus on internal videos as well. How are you communicating what your specific company is going through to your colleagues, to your partners, to your employees? So all those resources are available for free on our COVID-19 resource page that you can find on our website, and that's michelleberto.com, MICHELLEBURDO.com. I wish you good health. I wish you a lot of patience in this crazy time, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for all that you're doing to push forward in this as we lift each other up to try to get beyond whatever this could look like as it trickles down through our lives, through our economy, through our family situations. Chin up, everybody. We could get through this together. See you real soon.